Hey, what's up guys? Average Gear Reviewer here, and in today's video, we're taking a little walk down memory lane. You want to take a walk with me? Let's go. The best gear is the gear you have on you. And what is up guys? Average Gear Reviewer here, back again with you for another video. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time coming by, hey, thanks for stopping by to watch a video. I really appreciate it. This is pretty much what I do. I'm going to talk about a knife. This is going to be a review, so it's a little different, and I'll get into that in just a second. But this is a little trip down memory lane. I started making videos back around April of last year. And I started off with some Olight unboxing videos, and you know, really found some cool stuff that I am still in love with to this day at Olight. But that aside, one of the first videos that I did, and I don't know if you guys remember if you've been following the channel for a while, one of the first unboxing videos I did was on the Eafengrow EF 335. And it's been one of my most popular videos, the unboxing has. And it's one of those knives that hasn't really gotten a lot of pocket love until recently, and I carried it around, used it a little bit, and so I thought I would go ahead and give you guys my opinion on it. And I'm going to be honest, there's some pros and some cons, and if you want to hear my final thoughts on it, stick around to the end of the video. And you know, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. What we're looking at is the Eafengrow EF 355. Eafengrow, if you're not familiar with them, they are a Chinese company. They're, you know, they haven't been around for very long, but they're not one of the, you know, super new companies either. They've been around for a little while. They've got some really decent knives. And when I first got into making EDC videos, I really didn't have a whole lot of knives, and so I saw where they had these under $30, and I thought, well, that's kind of something cool to start off with, you know, find a less expensive knife and check that out and just kind of see what I thought about it. So I actually ordered this one and the EF 55 at the same time, and they came in at the same time. I unboxed them in the same video, and then I kind of put them up and didn't really look at them for a while. But I've gotten this one out and I have carried it. You could probably see on the blade there where I have been using it a little bit recently. But I want to love it. And there really is just one thing about it that I don't love. And I will get into that eventually. But let's talk about the particulars of the knife. This is the Eafengrow EF 335 model. I've heard that it is a clone of the Microtech Death on Contact. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's just something that I have heard when people talk about this. It does have a very hinder looking design to the handle to me. That you know, I don't have a hinderer, so maybe that's just my uneducated mind seeing something that's not there. But it kind of has that look to me. It does have G10 scales on it, and they have a nice texture. I think the camera is picking up on that for you there. They do have a really nice texture to them. They've got a good feel. They're not hard on your pockets at all, but they've got a good grip. So when you hold them, they've got a great feel to them. So I'll give them kudos on their scales for sure. They do have a nice little bit of beveling at the edges too. Not a lot of hot spots when you hold it. It is a very big knife. I will say that for it. It has a 3.94 inch blade. You get about a 3.5 inch cutting surface out of that. So you can see here, the blade's about 4 inches, and then you've got about 3.5 inches of cutting surface there. I'm not sure if this is considered a drop point blade or a spear point. To me, what do you think, guys? To me, it kind of looks like a spear point blade. It's got a hollow grind down here, and then it does have just a flat grind swedge up on the top. But this thing is, I got to give it to Eafengrow. I'll give them this for sure. This thing is sharp as a razor out of the box. I've used it a little bit, and it still seems like it's very, very sharp. You are getting, they advertise a D2 steel blade. And let me just say, I have heard different camps on this, and I really don't know which is true. I heard that there was some testing done to it, and guys said that it was actually D2 steel. I've heard some other people claim that it's a CR steel, and they're just claiming that it's D2. I don't know, and I don't have the means to test it, so I'm just gonna say I don't know for sure on that one. I will say that whatever it is, it's held up very well to use. It seems like it would be very easy to sharpen and get back to a razor's edge if you need to. I haven't needed to sharpen it yet. Haven't done any hard use with it. Just tried, cutting some cardboard and stuff like that. So, haven't done any real hard use with it. Got a really nice shape to the blade, and it's a fairly thick blade too. It says it's a 2.5 millimeter, which, looking at it on my mat, it looks like it's almost a quarter of an inch. So it's a big knife, I will say that. Like I said, it's got that almost 4-inch blade. It does have a 4.5-inch handle, I believe, and then the overall length of it, though, it's 5.5-inch handle, I'm sorry, and the overall length of it comes in at just right at 9 inches overall. So it's not a small knife. This is a very, very large, on the large size of like an EDC, large end of that. I wear an extra large size glove, and even this, I've got room left over down here. So yeah, this is a very large knife. It is almost 3/4 of an inch. It's a half an inch, little over half an inch thick back here with the scales and everything. You do have a nice G10 backspacer back here also. It's gotten a little colored with wear there, but it's nice. It's got some jimping back here on the back of it that's very grippy. Speaking of jimping, there's very nice jimping on the back of this. And it does almost feel like a Microtech jimping, but just not quite. It just doesn't quite have that bite that they have. But you'll notice with the flipper tab down, you can really get your fingers forward and get a nice forward grip on that for making those draw cuts, fine cuts. Be very good for that. I will say, looking at it, it doesn't look like you've got a whole lot of room to sharpen before you're going to be smiling there. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it does sort of look that way to me. But I will say, for the size of it, it's very slicey. It's very, very sharp. Yeah, very sharp right out of the box. And for my buddy over at BE EDC, you'll notice that this one does have an inset liner lock here, which for this price point, I gotta say, that's pretty impressive. There's a lot of things they did right on this knife, and these run about $29.95, I believe, and I think you can still get them for that. I gotta say, they did so many things right on it that the things that are wrong with it it just makes them that much more frustrating to me. So let's get into a few of the things that I do and don't like about this knife. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. Shh, psst. Hey, right now we have free subscriptions going on still. So if you like the content, leave us a like down below. Comment what you like about the video or what you like about the knife, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down there. It's free. I'm still gonna make it free as long as. Okay, I gotta go. So getting into the things that I like about the knife. The price, obviously. When I got it, I paid $29.95 for it. That's hard to beat for G10 handles. Sorry, D2 steel. Nice big pivot that's running on bearings. Good action. It's drop shut. It's absolutely centered there. I don't know if you can see that, but it is just absolutely centered, and it was that way right out of the box. It's very sharp right out of the box. I'll give them that. Whatever the sharpening process they're using over there, they're doing it right. So it does come to you from the factory very sharp. Of course, it may not be sharp enough for some aficionados out there who want to put their own, razor edge on it, and that's cool. But just for general use, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Even with the size of it, it'd be suited for even probably heavier tasks. I haven't really tested the liner lock. I don't know if you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of liner locks. They seem to be the most likely to fail to me, and I don't like the fact you have this small piece of inset steel here that's holding that blade. Just seems like the easiest type of lock to fail to me. But I do love the fact that it has good jimping there. This is one you got to get a little used to, because this knife is going to be rough on you. The jimping back here, the jimping on the flipper tab is very aggressive, but when you need it, it's going to be right there. I like how the flipper tab forms a nice little finger choil there, so that, I have to say, in the hand, it feels great. And especially for $30, it feels really, really good in the hand. I like the ergos of it. Just the overall design of the knife is really, it's well executed in my opinion. Now I'll get into the cons, and this is my least favorite part probably of reviews, but it has to be done, and there's things that just have to be addressed. Another thing I'll say on the pro side before I get into that, this little flipper tab, if you can see that, it's really cool. It has like a pyramid sort of design to it, and it's very easy to deploy even with the thumb stud. But it's a fairly heavy knife. It weighs in at 7.76 ounces, so just shy of 8 ounces. It's not light, but it's very substantial in the hand. So yeah, let me get into the things that I don't like about it. So first off, the jimping on the inside of here is a little bit sharp when you first get it. I think it maybe wears down over time because it doesn't seem as sharp and aggressive as it was at first. But when I first got it, boy, this one would just, if you played with it very much, it would just tear your thumb up from the jimping there. But it seems like it's not as bad now, or maybe my thumbs just got a little tougher. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the big backspacer back there. I like that it gives it a little bit of weight and a little bit of heft to it. I don't know. Maybe it's just an aesthetic thing. The orange looks really cool against the black of the G10. I do think that looks really neat. The one of the biggest glaring problems with this and Eafengrow, if you happen to watch this video, I don't know why they went with the proprietary screw system, and I don't know why some companies do this. They do have proprietary screws, and let me just bear with me here. Oh, and another thing I really like, their box is really cool. They just come with a really neat box. If you're into stuff like that, the presentation matters, and I just think they come with a really cool box. Anyway, that's a little aside, but they do come with this little tool to adjust them, and you can adjust the pivot with this end, and it is a captive pivot, so you actually can adjust it just from one side. And it comes with this, which is made to, if you can see the screws in the body, it's made to turn those. And it works just fine, and it's really cool. And I know Microtech does a similar thing, and you have to buy a separate tool for it, and I think the tool for it's like $30. So I just thought it was kind of funny. You can get one of these that comes with the tool, and it's $30. So anyway, that's another aside there, but that's the big glaring thing to me. If they would just change these out with standard hardware, it has a nice big pivot, rides on bearings. If they would just change this out to some standardized hardware, I mean, this would be, you could put like a T10 pivot there and T8 body screws in here probably, and it would just be awesome. But these proprietary screws, they look cool. It looks neat, and it gives it a unique kind of look, but it does kind of, I don't know, it kind of ruins it for me. And one of the things that I did want to point out for sure, and this is honestly probably one of my biggest problems with this knife, is this clip is so tight. I've done a lot of work on it to try to get it loosened up where I could actually get it in and out of my pocket. But when I got it out of the box, you couldn't carry it. And when I tried to adjust the clip, I was afraid I was going to break it because it's just so stiff and it's wide. It has a cool stonewash finish to it, which is neat, but it just made the knife uncarryable to me. And this knife actually made it on my 5 least carried knives of 2023 for that reason. And that reason alone, it just, I couldn't get the pocket clip. Like, you can't get that over, you can barely get it over jeans. And I can do it now because I've worked on it and loosened it up a little bit. But as you can see in the process of, is it going to focus there? In the process of working on it, I actually, one of these screws cracked, and so now it doesn't sit quite as well there, and you can't swap it for a left-hand carry either, even though it's got ambidextrous thumb studs and the flipper tab could easily be used ambidextrously. So Eafengrow, change these screws out, put some regular screws in here, keep the pivot if you want, but you know, give us just some regular hardware we can work with on this, and that would be a huge improvement to it. And I think it would eliminate this problem I'm having with this one. The screws kind of have a lip on the edge of them, and they're a little bit flimsy. So just in trying to back this screw out, it cracked that. And I'm sure if I reached out to them, they, you know, send it back, they'd probably send me another one. It not that big of a deal to me. I don't mind carrying it. And again, it's a $29 knife, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, you know, if there were some things I could say could be improved on this, that would be them. Carrying it around in my pocket, once I finally get the clip to work, I do like it. I actually like it a lot. I would actually, I'm gonna say I would still recommend it as a buy for $29. It's a good solid knife. Maybe just take the pocket clip off, or just don't mess with the pocket clip and put a lanyard on it or something. And it would make a good, maybe a knife for a truck bag or a go bag or something. It would make a great secondary knife, sort of like the MSI to me, sort of a combat blade as a backup. But I don't like that you can't carry it left-handed. And I've talked about that in videos before. I would just much rather carry a backup or combat blade left-handed for a lot of reasons. But we can get into some size comparisons here, and I don't want to drag on too much longer. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But let's see, we'll put it up against the Microtech MSI. You can see it's a little bit chunkier, not quite as long, but just a little bit more of a chunky boy compared to it. And the MSI is a good sized knife, so that kind of shows you a little bit. We got the Spyderco Bird Cara 2. So you can kind of see how it stacks up there, which is roughly the size of the police model, I believe, on the Cara 2. We could put it up against the, let's see, Benchmade Bug Out. Of course, it's going to be quite a bit smaller there. The Demco 80-20.5. You can see it just dwarfs that, and then the 20.5 is not a small knife at all. We could take the Spyderco off, and we could put it up next to the little Paraco, the Paraco, the Spyderco Para 3. It looks like a little baby knife next to it. But yeah, it's a good size knife, big old chunky boy. So yeah, he a thick boy. He's a thick boy. So anyway, guys, what do you think about the Eafengrow EF335? Have you had any experiences with it? Do you own one? You can get them still, I believe, on Amazon. I think you can still get them for $29.95 if I can find them. I'll put a link down in the description of the video. But the last time I looked, you can get them in a black, or you could get them in like a coyote tan finish as well. I like the black so much with the orange hardware, or with the orange backspacer. It just kind of gives it a little bit of pop to it. So, yeah, looks cool. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Eafengrow EF 335. Eafengrow, just give us some regular hardware on this thing. It would be such a banger. And maybe loosen up the pocket clip, or just come up, use a completely different design maybe. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I have a couple of more. Well, I got one more Eafengrow knife. Oh yeah, I was gonna. The EF55, which is really closely based on the Microtech SOCOM, I believe. So yeah, that's the EF 335 and the EF55, and I do have a video coming out on this one. It'll probably be the next video up, and I really like this knife a lot too. It was about the same price for $29.95. It's hard to beat. You know, if they still got them for $29.95, I would say pick one up. Average Gear Reviewer is out of here. You're still here. Awesome. Listen, I was supposed to tell you something really important, and I have to tell you this. Don't forget to like the video. If you like the content, subscribe down below. Hit the subscribe button. Please, I'm stuck here until you hit the subscribe button. Please, please, I'm begging you. Please, you gotta let me out here. Just hit the subscribe button. Did you hit it? Did you hit it's right down here. Did you hit it? I don't know, I'm still here. Hello? Hello? Did you hit the subscribe button? Look, listen, I'm literally stuck here until you hit the subscribe button. Oh, stop. Yes, very soon. Listen, please hit the subscribe button. You did? You did hit it? Are you sure you hit it? Let's try it again. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. Please, please help me. It's not